Shalom, shalom, shalom. Right, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto the Most High God Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach, Yahushai. Right, Lord willing, brothers and sisters are enduring, waxing mightier and mightier through the Spirit, doing all they can do to make their call and their election sure in these last days. Right, it's Brother Carl with WFI St. Louis. I want to come at y'all with a quick exhortation before camp. Right, I'm driving, so I'm not going to be able to pull all the precepts, but the Most High put it on my spirit, to kind of get into a lesson before camp or exhortation, right? On what men or mighty men of war are supposed to do, right? When you look at the military that's set up today, right? You have to die for your brother, right? You should be willing to take a bullet, go out. Hey, something that they got to risk themselves. I don't know if y'all have seen, but it's a former CIA agent who is going all around social media right now for all the things that he had to do for the CIA. There was no limits, and you had to keep your mouth shut, right? They told him essentially you got to take one for the team. They had him doing all horrendous things that put your life in danger. Hey, but guess what? He did it. Why? Because he thought he was fighting on the better half or for something righteous, right? How much more us that know the truth? How much more should we be laying down our life for one another, right? Because we have to understand we're at war. We're at war every day. We're at war week in and week out. And chiefly when we go out onto the highways and byways, we're especially at war. We see the spirits that manifest themselves. A lot of times we see these people that are pure demons at camp. You see them outside of camp and they're normal, right? The Most High puts these spirits on these people to come up to test us, right? Satan hops on these men and riles up their spirit so that he can find a reason to blame us. But nevertheless, us being men in order, right? Building up an army of the Most High God, we have to be set in order, right? Like it says in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6 and verse number 11, you got to put on the whole armor of God. That way that we may be able to fight off the wiles of Satan. That Satan may not be able to touch us, right? And one of those is love. And they said there is no greater love than a man that lays down his life for his brother. So that's the point today, is to show brotherly love and camaraderie, to bring that back to the nation, because it's something we lack, right? People can't wait for a brother's downfall so they can make a video on him, so they can slander him, backbite, instead of restoring your brother like it says in the book of Galatians chapter 6 and verse 2. You have to restore your brother with meekness, because guess what? At the end of that verse it says, if you fall, you'll want your brother to do the same, roughly paraphrasing. You'll want your brother to restore you in meekness. You don't want to be chastised, put your damn face all on a billboard with your charges, right? Now, some things have to be brought before the congregation, right, before the nation. But not everything does. One small offense, the brother bumped you and didn't realize it and made you drop your damn snacks. And now you want to throw up a charge. He transgressed. He hates his brother. He's a murderer. You want to plaster it all over the billboard. A lot of you men and women, you're very emotional, right? It says in Sirach, and if you're supposed to go to your brother, that if he did do this or if he did say that, he said no more again. And many times it may be that he didn't say it, and we just have a wrong notion of it. Because as our carnal, natural minds like to think that somebody is playing with us. That's how we were thought to think in the world. And we have to renew our mind to think that you got to give brothers the benefit of the doubt, sisters the benefit of the doubt. Now, we're not ignorant. We're not fools. But you have to wash away the mind that everything is negative. Everything that happens is intentional, or they did it towards me. And that's a part of being a new creature in Yahushua. Being able to examine the matter, that brother didn't do that intentionally. That sister didn't do that intentionally, right? And again, if you do feel like that, you go ask that person. Matthew 18. You go one-on-one and you ask that person. A lot of things can be resolved by just showing brotherly and sisterly love, man. Like when Moses came out, he had to hold up his hands fighting the Amalekites. He had to hold up both his arms. He had 2 men on each side to help him hold up his arms, because when his arms fell, we started to lose. But every time he held his arms up, we were winning the war or the battle. That's brotherly love, to sit there and prop up your brother's arms so that the war may be won. I'm not doing that. I'll go take them on. A lot of men like to get names for themselves. We see it throughout the scriptures. No, you see your brother falling, you restore him in meekness. In the book of Matthew, I believe it's 5:41, it says if your brother asks you to go a mile, you go twain with him. There's plenty of examples of brotherly love throughout the scriptures that we have to start implementing. Your brother asks you to fast with him, it's not a burden. And the Lord may put it on his spirit to ask you that because you need a fast. It may not really even be for him. We have to start looking at the spiritual aspects of a lot of things that the Most High has our life to be. Because man's goings is not of the Lord. It's not in you to direct your own steps. Right? That's Jeremiah 10:23. We have to understand that. Everything, there are no coincidences. The Most High plans these things from the foundation of the earth. And you have to understand, okay, this is for a reason. The Most High put you on this path for a reason. And what is it? That's the chief thing that we have to examine. And not being so selfish. You have to be selfless. That's a part of being a good brother, is being selfless. Right? A brother just helped me move after he got off a full shift. And we did another full shift of moving. And that brother didn't say, well, now you owe me this such and such amount of money. No, the brother said, hey, it is what it is. You know, that's what we here for. Right? That's true brotherly love. That's alms. Right? Like Tobit did when they were at the feast. Tobias, he told his son, hey, go fetch somebody that is poor, that keeps the commandments of God, and bring them in hither. Right? These are good alms deeds. Being a good brother it comes with giving alms. It comes with relieving your brothers. Like it says in the book of Leviticus chapter 25 and verse number 35, if your brother be poor or waxing in decay, that you relieve him. You feed him. You shelter him. Right? And now we're not looking for these things to be attributed to us. Right? Oh, I hope the Lord really going to take away these sins that I did. That's kind of like what they was doing in the ancient world. Premeditating with a sacrifice of a bullock because they know they about to go off and go sin. No, the Lord isn't pleased with that. You can't be looking for something. The Lord looks for a willful giver. If you're always looking for something in return out of giving, the Most High, that's a stench to him. Right? We don't even like that carnally as men. Right? So how much more the Most High? And again, that's not true love, because you didn't sincerely do that out of the kindness and the love that you have for that person. You did that expecting a reward, praise, right? And you got to watch men like that. You got to mark them because they're not sincere, right? And the Lord said, let your life be sincere. And that's what we have to start charging one another with. Being sincere. Calling out insincerity. That's something you can call out. And reprove and rebuke your brother with kindness with it, though. Again, you don't have to plaster his damn face all over the place. But, nevertheless, to get back to the point, we should be showing more of that brotherly love in these last days. Again, like it says in Matthew 5:41, that we go twain with that brother. There's a lot of things that we deal with, a lot of infirmities, right? And, hey, if you have the knowledge of how to deal with certain things, the Lord said, I believe it's Sirach, it could be 4:23. You're not supposed to hide wisdom. You're not supposed to shut wisdom up. When there is an occasion to do good and speak, hey, show forth that wisdom. Hey, brother, these herbs will really help with this headache. You may have a toothache. right? Your bones may hurt. And some magnesium you take kind of make you feel better, right? You never want to hide wisdom for bashfulness or something I just ran across, because a brother just actually asked me about the scripture. Leviticus 19 and 17, right? What it's really talking about is if you have an ought with a brother, don't just let him fall into sin. No, you have to correct him and rebuke him. Even though you may not be eye to eye with that brother, but if you see him going off, you see him going down the wrong path, you got to rebuke him and let him know. Correct him. That's true brotherly love, right? Like me and my physical brother, if we mad at one another, I'm still not going to let him go off, right? Me and my brother may have gotten into it, back in the world when we was kids, but at the end of the day, my brother always had my back and I always had his back, no matter what the situations or the circumstances are. And that's the principle that the Lord is trying to teach us. You can't hate your brother in your heart no matter what. You have to forgive him. The Lord said you got to forgive your brother 7 times 70. Now it's just an infinite amount. You got to forgive him an infinite amount. And that's hard for a lot of people to do. A lot of people don't have any grace or mercy. But like it says in the book of James, hey, with judgment you judge a man with, you will be met with that same judgment. If you don't show mercy or grace upon your brother, you're not going to get it either. Right? When you go into the parable of the master and the servant, going into what the kingdom is likened unto in the book of Matthew chapter 18, it says that the king and the ruler, he forgave the servant that owed him, however many talents or whatever it was. May have been 10,000, right? And he pleaded for his life for the king to show forth mercy, to let him go. He said he's going to pay him back in due time. And that king was about to sell that man's whole family and give him no mercy. But he showed compassion. He said, you know what? I'll bid you that. Now be on your way. And as this man gets released, the first thing he does is look for a servant that owes him money. And what does he proceed to do? He damn wraps his hand around his neck, chokes him like Bart Simpson, and requires the money of him and beats him. And the people that's around just witness what happened to him. And they're like, damn, you're not going to show him mercy? And they go run and tell the king. And that king finds out and judges him with that same judgment. Oh, you didn't want to show him mercy? Well, now you don't get mercy. Now, the principle of that is we all go off. We all got a flaw somewhere. We all have something that we can work on. So we can all show one another grace and mercy. Just because that person ain't going through or struggling with you're struggling with, don't mean you don't got, don't stink. Right? We have a flaw in all of us somewhere. So and some of it may be the same thing. Like that man, his flaw was the same as the servant that he was going to. He owed him money. And it was significantly less. It wasn't even on the same scale. May have been 10,000 talents to 100 or 1,000 talents. Those aren't even comparable. Right? But that man showed forth no mercy. And when we start understanding these things, that we have to show forth mercy to one another, that we all do go off, that we all, and correction still needs to be happening. We all need to be reproved, right? Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love. Yeah, we're still supposed to correct one another, but we have to do it within meekness and with love. You don't want to wait. You don't want to do it out of malicious intent. I've been waiting for this brother to go off. I've been waiting for this sister to go off. And I'm going to let out all my heart's content. All the things I've stacked up and held and grudged against them. I didn't like the way you did this. You did. And then they just start listing charges on you. Like, whoa, hold on. Why is this just now being brought up to me? That's not sincere, nor is that true rebuke or love. We have to know how to move as a nation and with more camaraderie to one another. We should be looking forward to, the brother y'all always said, our kids got to grow up here, man. And I'd be damn, I allow my son to grow up in a world that we're supposed to be set apart from. And sometimes we move even worse than some of the people in the world, quite frankly. Now, I know we got the wheat and we got the tares. Some people ain't really in this thing. You know what? But on a grand scale, for the most part, we should be able to conduct ourselves better, right? We should be able to move in a better manner towards one another. Situations should be handled better. A lot of things should be nipped in the bud so they don't continue on to prolong and it overthrows somebody. And we have to start taking accountability with ourselves. That's another big thing, being accountable. We're allergic to accountability, allergic to rebuke. These are things that we should love, right? I actually just told brother, I told a brother I was on the phone with him. I'm like, man, a brother need to rebuke me about something. I don't know what it is, but I feel I need correction on something, right? Examine me, right? So you got the David. He asked the Lord to examine him. Where I'm going off. Where can I get better? Can I teach better? Can I read better? Are my talents dimming? Is the light dimming within me? Show me forth something. That's brotherly love. If a brother doesn't tell you and just let you wax worse and worse, hey, well, that's not a good thing, right? It's a bad thing. So we have to take that initiative within ourselves. If we see something, we got to speak up. That's love, right? And there's many more things and many more fold that we can do to love one another, but this is just a starting point. What they say is the tip of the iceberg, right? On that glacier, you may have 10 feet out of water, but it's 300 feet deep. It's so many more things we can do, but we got to get the ball rolling. We got to get the initial point of it, right? So I encourage brothers and sisters to show forth more brotherly love. And in the moments of you feel like somebody may have tried you or played with you, you examine the whole matter. You take a breath, you take a step back, and you go ask that person with humility, hey, is this what you meant? It's kind of how I took it. It didn't really sound right. A lot of things get misconstrued in text messages or yada, yada, yada. And you ask that person with meekness and not ready to argue, right? And being able to take rebuke, not ready to argue. You listen, you examine, and you say the water for that, and you try to get better. Because all the rebuke isn't to make you feel bad, isn't to uplift them, right? It's to make you better. And that's what we have to understand. It's to make us better. It's to make the nation better. It's to make us walk on one accord. So we got to strengthen up the community, strengthen up our minds, strengthen up the love and the bond that we have for one another, right, with more camaraderie, and show forth this light that we can be to one another, to the nation, that it be as a lighthouse on top of a hill that cannot be hid, because that's what our spirit, that's what the Most High ordained us to be, and we should move in like fashion. Right, but with that, I want to close out giving all praise, honor, and glory unto the Most High God Yahweh, by Hashem HaMashiach Yahushua. Kwam Yashalom. Shalom.